even as COVID cases jumped a whopping 55% in the 24 hours ended Wednesday morning to 58,097, and the first Omicron-related death was reported. Hospitalization remained in the 3 to 7% range in Metro. The low hospitalization rate is in sharp contrast with the Delta wave in 2020 when, according to VK Paul, member, Niti Aayog, the pan-India hospitalization rate was 20%. In the current wave, even among those hospitalized, the number needing oxygen is negligible. In Delhi, the total COVID-19 cases as of Wednesday was 10,665, with a positivity rate of 11.88%. Of those tested positive, about 7%, that is, 708, were hospitalized. Among this set, 551 remained mild and asymptomatic. About 2.8%, 22 patients, were in ICU with ventilator support. Very few need oxygen support. Delhi will not see the kind of catastrophe we witnessed last time even though the cases are rising, said a top Delhi doctor. In Mumbai, hospitalization was 5%. Similar trends are reported from smaller cities. In Rajasthan, from where the first Omicron-related death was reported, health officers reported low hospitalization. In Jaipur, of the 700 COVID-19 patients, only 23 are in a hospital. Only 6 patients are in the ICU, said a state official. The West Bengal Health Department portal reflected the COVID bed occupancy in at 3.25%. The state, which saw total new COVID-19 cases spiral to 9,073 on Tuesday, has not witnessed any massive surge in hospitalizations so far. Officials at both government and private hospitals confirmed that even for those hospitalized there has not been much of a requirement for critical care beds so far. On Wednesday, new COVID-19 cases in Tamil Nadu spiked to 4,862 against 2,731 on Tuesday. Chennai led the spike, reporting 2,481 new cases against 1,489 on Tuesday. At Chennai's Rajiv Gandhi Government Hospital, of the 528 normal beds, 317 are vacant. Of the 385 ICU beds, 379 are vacant. There are 1,137 oxygen-supported beds of which 1,118 are vacant. Of the total 2,050 beds, 1,814 are vacant. At the Omandara Medical Hospital, of the total 500 beds, 264 are vacant. Of the 280 oxygen-supported beds, 114 are vacant, and of the 170 ICU beds, 150 are vacant. However, all the 50 normal beds are occupied. R. Srinivasa, resident medical officer at Victoria Hospital, Bengaluru, said, there has only been a little increase in admission of COVID-19 patients in the last few days. The ICU occupancy is also extremely low, with just 1-2 patient. Arun Kumar C., medical superintendent at Karnataka Institute of Medical Sciences, Hubballi, said, the hospital has only 5 COVID-19 patients, 3 of them were admitted in the last 3 days. Only patients with serious symptoms or the aged have been admitted. The ICU occupancy, too, is low, he added. Manish Kalj, handling COVID-19 cases at Rao Nursing Home, Pune, said that last Monday he was treating 4 active COVID-19 patients, and within a week, the number has gone up to 25. The number of critical patients is low and the symptoms in active patients are usually mild to moderate. Upper respiratory tract symptoms are found in some, Kalj said. In the Pune metropolitan region there were 5,617 active COVID-19 patients till Monday, of which 607 were hospitalized and 4,920 in home quarantine. Meanwhile, on the precautionary shot, the Health Ministry clarified on Wednesday that same dosage will be administered for healthcare/frontline workers and the elderly with comorbidity. Tamil Nadu's Directorate of Public Health and Preventive Medicine has issued new guidelines for home isolation and discharge due to a sudden surge in COVID-19 cases and Omicron variant. Patients eligible for home isolation will be those who have taken 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, no symptoms, no comorbidity, younger than 50 years with mild symptoms. Further, lab-confirmed cases not experiencing any symptoms and having oxygen saturation at room air of more than 94%, the patient should be clinically assigned as mild/asymptomatic case by treating medical office, and such cases should have the requisite facility at their residence for self-isolation and for quarantining the family contact. A caregiver should be available to provide care on a 24/7 basis. If home isolation is not possible for pregnant women, persons more than 65 years old, the person with routine medication should be sent to COVID care center. Patients under home isolation will be discharged and end isolation after at least 5 days have passed from the onset of the symptoms and no fever for consecutive 3 days. There is no need for testing. Severe cases will be discharged only after clinical recovery, and patients tested negative once by RT-PCR, said the new guideline. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, new coronavirus cases in Tamil Nadu spiked to 4,862 as against 2,731 on Tuesday. Chennai led the spike by reporting 2,481 new cases against 1,489 on Tuesday. The number of samples tested also increased, thus leading to more cases. After 688 patients were discharged, the number of active cases stood at 16,577. There were 9 deaths and 611 samples tested. In Chengalpattu district, the number of new cases was 596, in Coimbatore, it was 259, in Tiruvalur 209 and Kanchipuram 127. Out of the 121 Omicron cases reported in the state, 110 have been discharged, 8 under admission and 3 cases cross-notified to Kerala, Puducherry, Andhra Pradesh, according to state government data. Same dose will be used as a precautionary dose for the healthcare, frontline workers, and the elderly people with comorbid conditions, the Health Ministry clarified Wednesday during the press conference here. The precautionary doses will be administered to the eligible population starting from January 10. So those who took Covaxin as primary vaccination will get Covaxin, and those who received Covishield would get Covishield as the third dose, VK Paul, Niti Ayog, member health said. He further added, as more scientific evidence will emerge about heterologous approach, the decision will be taken going forward on mixing of vaccine. Also read, COVID-19 cases rise 55% in 24 hours, 3 to 7% need hospitalization in major metros. India reported more than a 6.3 times rise in COVID cases in the last 8 days, the health ministry said. On Wednesday, India reported 55% rise in the COVID cases at 58,097 with 534 casualties. Lav Agarwal, Joint Secretary in the Health Ministry, said that a sharp jump in the COVID positivity has been witnessed, from 0.79% on December 29, 2021, to 5.03% on January 5, 2022. It highlighted 6 states including Maharashtra, West Bengal, Kerala, Delhi, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, which have more than 10,000 active cases in a single day. As per the ministry, 28 districts in the country are reporting more than 10% weekly positivity. It further highlighted that Omicron is the predominant strain behind upsurge in COVID cases. West Bengal has the highest weekly positivity rate. Meanwhile, Agarwal said that 25.2 lakh cases were reported globally on January 4, the highest ever since the beginning of the pandemic. Nearly 65% of the cases in the week ending January 4 were registered from the USA, UK, France, Italy, and Spain. 4.70 lakh Omicron cases have been reported so far in 139 countries. There have been 108 confirmed deaths so far. Most of the cases have been reported from the UK, Denmark, and the US, Agarwal noted. He further stated that the hospitalization instances are relatively less in the Omicron-led surge as compared with the previous surge across countries. In the US, in an earlier surge, 2.5 lakh cases were being reported and 1.33 lakh people were hospitalized. Now when at the peak there are around 3.94 lakh cases are being registered, so only 90,000 cases need hospitalization, Agarwal added. Likewise in the UK, France, and Denmark too there have been less hospitalization, he stated. He stated that India needs to analyze the data to predict the trend. He informed that there are about 1,354 Omicron cases in the country. Agarwal said vaccination and testing are still relevant to curtail the Omicron spread. He added that states have been asked to increase surveillance to track the infection. The Indian Medical Council of Research has approved the testing kit for Omicron manufactured by Tata Medical and Diagnostics, the Health Ministry said. Quick home testing and rapid antigen testing will play a major role in diagnosing the infection. There are 7.4 crore children in the 15 to 18 age group. More than 1 crore adolescents in this group have received their first dose. So far, more than 1.24 crore children have received their first dose of vaccine. We estimate that 1 of 6 children have been vaccinated in this set. We hope this will gather pace. Vaccine availability is not an issue. We will be able to vaccinate this group, Paul said. Biological Corbavax is also one of the options available to India for its vaccination drive of the adult population. This vaccine is in a trial for pediatric groups, and I believe also that they will file a request for trial as an additional or that request is pending. Secondly, if such a stockpile has become available, it will also be available for export at a point when India doesn't need. In a closed space, it is important to wear a mask. However, in an open area, if you are alone, then you may not wear it. Use of a mask is necessary whenever there is home isolation, Balram Bhargava, Director General of the Indian Council of Medical Research said. In home care, patients should wear a triple-layer medical mask. For caregivers too, it should be a triple-layer mask. N95 masks can also be considered. In general situations, any mask can be used, Paul said. As per the revised guidelines of home isolation of mild or asymptomatic patients, the patient will stand discharged after at least 7 days have passed from testing positive and no fever for 3 successive days. There is no need for retesting after the home isolation period is over. Asymptomatic contacts of infected individuals need not undergo COVID test and monitor health in home quarantine. Bhargava told Business Line that Molnupiravir antiviral drug, which recently got approved by the Drug Controller General of India, is not the part of COVID treatment protocol. He said, US FDA approved it based on only 1,433 patients with a 3% reduction in moderate disease, when given in mild cases. However, we have to remember that this drug has major safety concerns, like it can cause teratogenicity, mutagenicity, and it can also cause cartilage damage. It can be damaging to the muscles also. More important, contraception has to be given for 3 months, male or female, if it is given because child-born could be problematic with teratogenic influences. He added that for these reasons it has not been included in the National Task Force treatment. The World Health Organization has not included it. The UK has not included it as of now. We are still concerned about the pregnancy, lactation, children, soft tissue injury, reproductive age group, history of infection, vaccination, and all those issues. Whatever benefit was there in those 1,433 patients was on unvaccinated individuals, and only 3% from mild to moderate diseases. So as of now, the current recommendations stand is that it is not the part of National Task Force treatment, and we have debated it on twice, and we will have further debate on whether there is any possibility, Bhargava said. Spot rubber ended in red on Wednesday. The commodity opened firm but lost the initial gains on buyer resistance coupled with profit booking at higher level. This may be a temporary phenomenon and the market is likely to recover within a few sessions, a dealer said. A leading tire maker was buyer on sheet rubber at 164 Indian rupees a kg, but most traders preferred to hold their stocks expecting an immediate recovery in prices. RSS 4 declined to 165 Indian rupees a kg as per trader. The grade weakened to 165.50 Indian rupees, according to the rubber board. The trend was partially mixed as latex improved further, driven by a steady rise in demand. In futures, the most active January contracts were down 1.05% from Tuesday's settlement price to close at 165.49 Indian rupees per kg with a volume of 35 lots on the multi-commodity exchange. RSS 3 improved to 144.95 Indian rupees per kg at Bangkok. SMR 20 firmed up to 133.15 Indian rupees and latex to 99.93 Indian rupees per kg at Kuala Lumpur. The natural rubber contract for the January 2022 delivery lost 0.03% from previous day's settlement price to close at 14.45 yuan per kg with a volume of 1,398 lots in daytime trading on Shanghai Futures Exchange. The most active June 2022 delivery was down 0.29% to close at 243.1 yen per kg, with a volume of 147 lots on the Osaka Exchange, Japan. Spot rubber rates were RSS 4:165, RSS 5, 161.50, ISNR 20, 149 and latex, 130. With record volumes in December, total registered electric vehicle sales in India more than doubled in 2021 as compared to 2020 and crossed the 3 lakh mark in 2021, the highest ever annual volume. The EV segment continued its sales momentum in December, clocking 50,889 units, up 21% on a sequential basis and a jump of 240% year-on-year. This is the first time EV registrations have crossed the 50,000 mark in a month, according to the Union Ministry of Road Transport and Highway. The total registered EV sales for the full calendar year 2021 crossed the 3 lakh mark and stood at 311,339 units. In 2020, it stood at about 119,654 units, while the total number for 2019 was 161,312 units. The electric two-wheeler segment continues to drive EV volumes in the country. The overall high-speed electric two-wheeler sales in December 2021 stood at 24,725 units, up 10% sequentially and a whopping 444% year-on-year. The total high-speed electric two-wheeler sales for 2021 are estimated at 1.37 lakh units, according to data compiled by JMK Research. Higher purchase costs of internal combustion engine two-wheelers and fuel prices have adversely affected the TCO equations, compelling prospective buyers to look for alternatives. And electric two-wheelers have timely emerged as the most competent and comparable alternative to ICE 2WS. So, the outlook for this disruptive tech looks bright, said Suraj Ghosh, Associate Director, Powertrain Compliance Forecast South Asia, IHS Markit. However, industry analysts point out that the demand for electric two-wheelers has to turn organic before the subsidy schemes run out. Because at present central and state governments' promotional programs have played a vital role in helping electric two-wheelers achieve price parity with ICE vehicles. The top 10 players, Hero Electric, Okinawa Autotech, Ampere, Ather, Pure EV, TVS Motor, Benling India, Revolt, Bajaj Auto, Jitendra New EV Tech, accounted for 94% of the total electric two-wheeler registrations recorded in December 2021. Also, after a gap of about 7 months, sales of Okinawa were higher than Hero Electric's volumes in December 2021, says JMK Research. Total electric car sales stood at 2,522 units in December 2021, up 64% over the previous month and 410% year-on-year in registration. Tata Motors was the major driver of electric car sales during the month, accounting for 93% of the total registrations in December 2021. The sales of registered electric three-wheelers in December 2021 stood at 23,373 units, a sequential growth of 29.8%. Electric two-wheelers and passenger-type electric three-wheelers accounted for 90.3% of total registrations in December 2021. Electric cars accounted for 5% and cargo electric three-wheelers held 4.3% share. The National Capital Region has shown resilience despite the pandemic, with the residential sales in the region witnessing a 65% growth YOY in the CY 2021 with 35,073 units sold during the year. New launches saw a 110% YOY rise with the addition of 20,585 units in 2021. The NCR's office market witnessed resilience too, with total office transactions in 2021 rising to 6.4 million sq ft. New completions in 2021 saw a 38% YOY increase, as per consultancy firm Knight Frank said in its India Real Estate H2 2021 report. New launches were around 5.2 million sq ft. The report further added that two-thirds of NCR's sales volume was recorded in H2 2021, comprising of 23,599 housing units. In the wake of a strong demand momentum, average residential prices have started increasing with 1% rise for the quarter ended December 2021. Demand has been skewed towards bigger residential units with ticket size above 50 Indian rupees lakh faring well. In particular, the share of projects with ticket sizes above Indian rupee 1 crore was 37% of the total sales in H2 2021. In the year-ago period, the share of homes in this category was 31%. In the office space segment, there was absorption of around 4 Minnesota sq ft in H2 2021 compared to 2.1 million sq ft in the year-ago period, or a 56% YOY increase. Gurugram witnessed 64% of overall office space transactions in H2 2021 to 2.6 million sq ft of office space, while Noida saw leasing activity of 1.1 million sq ft. Office space leasing by the co-working sector posted a 29% YOY growth over 2020. The average transacted rents in NCR remained stable, with rent for the office sector being around 82.1 Indian rupees per sq ft per month by October-December end. Gurugram, along with Noida, remains preferred destinations for occupiers with well-developed micromarkets and infrastructure development. The leasing activity remained robust in the second half of the year on account of sustained demand from a diverse pool of occupiers. The trend is here to stay in the year 2022. Bulk hiring in the IT sector will also propel demand for Grade A office spaces. Improved leasing volumes are also going to influence the rental growth in the upward trajectory, said Mudassir Zaidi, Executive Director, North at Knight Frank India. The Finance Ministry has exempted foreign portfolio investor from providing information about new clients within 10 days of their joining. Experts feel such a move will provide a much-needed breather to FPI. FPI can be an individual or institution from any other country who must register here to invest in the capital market here either as an intermediary or on its own. The central government, in consultation with the regulatory authority, namely the Securities and Exchange Board of India, in the public interest and in the interest of the regulated entity, namely the foreign portfolio investor, hereby directs that the provisions of Sub-Rule of Rule 9 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Rules, 2005 shall not apply to the foreign portfolio investor, a notification by the Ministry said. Rule 9 of Prevention of Money Laundering Rules, 2005 is related to client due diligence. There are two situations in Sub-Rule under the first situation. Every reporting entity will identify its clients at the time of commencement of an account-based relationship, verify their identity, and obtain information on the purpose and intended nature of the business relationship. Also, it will determine whether a client is acting on behalf of a beneficial owner, identify the beneficial owner, and take all steps to verify the beneficial owner's identity. The second situation is related to transactions and other activities. Here, the reporting entity must verify identity while carrying out transactions of an amount equal to or exceeding 50,000 Indian rupees or any international money transfer operation. Now Sub-Rule 1 says every reporting entity will within 10 days after the commencement of an account-based relationship with a client, file the electronic copy of the client's KYC records with the Central KYC Records Registry. FPI has been exempted from this. According to Sunil Gidwani, partner with Nangia Anderson LLP, in 2018, SEBI had amended the KYC requirement for foreign portfolio investors, requiring them to identify the beneficial owner who ultimately owns or controls an FPI. The BO should be identified as per Rule 9 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Rules, 2005. The materiality threshold for identification of BOs shall be the same as prescribed in PMLA rules, i.e., 25% in the case of companies and 15% in the case of partnership firm, trust unincorporated association of person. While necessary information is obtained by the custodians at the time of registration, in case of any new investor investing into the FP entity subsequently in the case of multiple tier structures, it's not easy to determine ultimate owner meeting threshold requirement. The time period of 10 days was too tight to do the necessary due diligence and obtain relevant information from any new investor joining the FPI. The exemption from this 10-day period for FPIs will provide a much-needed breather. One hopes that if any time period is notified separately, it is a reasonable one, he said.